How's it going, friends? From Si Puedes También, I'm Carlos. This time I've been called to check why half of this apartment has power and the other half has no power. The first thing I have to do is go to the breaker box and see if we're getting the correct voltage, which is 240 volts. What I'm going to use is this meter, a multimeter. We're going to put it on the voltage setting. So right now I'm going to show you what we're going to do, and we'll see if the problem is here in the breaker box, or maybe it's in the main panel that's located outside of this building. So we'll do it right now and I'll show you how it's done. Well, it's a little dark in here. This breaker box is very old, and they've carefully painted over the metal surface, and I see that I have to use my knife to cut around here. So when I take it off, all the paint doesn't come off. And it's very common for them to do that in houses, in rental properties. So very carefully and slowly, I'm going to cut it, making sure to be precise. Since this isn't a main box, this is a secondary panel or a sub-panel. We don't have a breaker here to turn it on and off, because that breaker is in the box outside where the meter is. That's where the main panel is, and that's where the breaker is. But here we're going to see if we have 240 volts on these two screws. Taking a measurement from one phase to the neutral or ground bar. So here's the neutral and here's the ground. We're going to take a measurement with one and then the other. It has to give us 120 volts. Then we'll move on to the other phase. We'll take a measurement touching there and touching the ground. It should be 120. Then also touching the same phase and touching the neutral, and it should be 120 volts. First, let's see if we're getting 240 volts. Here we have 246, which means that it's good. And now we're going to measure with the ground. One phase to the ground gives us 123, that's good. We take the same phase to the neutral, it gives us 123, that's good. So the first phase, or line 1, whatever you want to call it, is fine. Now let's go with the next phase, which would be line 2. We touch there and we touch the ground, we get 123. We make contact with the phase wire here, along with the neutral wire, and as a result we get a reading of 123 volts. So actually this box is working. Let's see now what's happening. Because here we have 240, 120, 120. And this is not a problem with the power company. The breaker is tripped. Let's reset it. We move over to the side and then we carefully turn it on. But as soon as we do, it's tripping again. Let's turn everything off and turn them on again. When I do this with the panel open, just like it is, I don't stay in front, I move to the side just in case. I don't know what condition this panel is in. Maybe it suddenly throws a spark and the sparks come forward and hit me in the face. So that's why I never stand in front. Friends, if you don't have experience opening the breaker box like what I'm doing, or taking measurements, please don't do it because it's dangerous. This demonstration is only for educational purposes. It's not exactly that I'm telling you to go and do it after watching this video. So what I think is actually happening is there's a short. That's why this breaker is tripping. So the problem isn't exactly that half of the house has no power. There is actually power. What's happening is that a breaker, a circuit, has a short, but I'm going to take the measurement with the breakers on to see if we have, for example, on these that are 240 volts, that we have 240, here 240, and here 120. And see if we have 240 volts on this breaker. We have 246 there. This is a double breaker, specifically 246. This is a regular breaker, which should have a value of 120. And in addition, 123. 122. 122. This breaker here is a double. It should have 240. This is an AFCI breaker, which is also commonly referred to as an arc fault circuit interrupter. It's fine and it works as intended. 123. This one is off because it tripped. That's a regular breaker. 122. 122. Basically, everything is working except for one circuit, and we're going to see what it's about. What I just did right now is the breaker that is tripping is from the room hallway, bathroom lights, and living room lights. So what I did was turn off all the lights. And I have a feeling that the problem is going to be in some light or in some light switch. And this is a learning experience for you. If the breaker is tripping, the first thing you have to do is turn off the switches for that circuit and then go light by light, turning them on and then turning them off again. Then you'll get to a switch that when you turn it on, the breaker will trip. That way you know that the problem is there. Right now I'm going to test the outlets that are in this room that belong to that circuit, and we heard the alarm start to make noise. It possibly needs a new battery, so I'm going to test the outlets, which I'm almost sure are fine, that there are no problems with the outlets. And then I'll go light by light to see which one is causing the short. So let's do this. Let's see here with this tester, which is it's called a GFCI tester. So let's put it here. And we have two little lights, if you can see. It says, if you can see right over here, it says correct wiring, which means it's correct. The wiring, so that's good. And we're going to go one by one, because if the problem exists, when I plug it into an outlet, it will tell me what I need to know. The little light will tell me there's a problem, which means that I've already ruled out that the problem is in this room. And it's also not, the problem is not in the switch. Now we're going to go. The switches, I'm not going to turn them on yet because I have to check all the outlets. Here, as you can see, it's working. And I'm going to finish checking all the outlets that are on that circuit. If they're all good, we'll move on to the next phase. We're going to do another different test. I'm checking all the outlets that are here. And this one is off. It means it has no power. But you have to make sure also that they are not on a switch. And this switch doesn't have the words off and on occasionally. This one, you can see, it says off, and at the bottom it should say on. This one, the switch that doesn't have the words on or off written on it, is actually a three-way switch. Meanwhile, the one that does have those words there, that's just a regular switch. So let's turn it on now, and we'll see what happens. So it turned on here, which means that this outlet is controlled by the switch that's over here. So I'm missing one more here. It's working. At this point, I've already checked all the outlets. Now I'm going to go light by light to see if something is malfunctioning. So this room that's here, I've already checked it from here. It's fine. There's no short circuit. This other room, I've already checked it. It's working. This would be the bathroom, and we're going to check that one. GFCI is not on this circuit, but well, let's test it once since, well, we're already here. It's fine. Okay, this one tripped the breaker. With the first switch, I flipped here. We're going to reset it. To reset it, you push it that way, and then you're going to bring it back. Okay, that one already tripped it. We'd better check the others to be sure there are no problems elsewhere. This switch is for the outside light. And this is the three-way for the outside light. So I'm going to go outside to see if it's working. The light is working, so well, that's good. Let's see here. This one, I think it's for the kitchen. That's the one for the kitchen. It's turning on. It turns on and off. The fan is this one. It's working. Now let's see if it turns on. So it's installed correctly. Okay. Let's turn it off. So the kitchen, the fan are working, the outlets are working. The switch for the outlet controlled by the switch works. The outside light works. This is the three-way by the front door, it works. And the one for this little hallway is working. Now we're going to go to, this is the other one. They are basically two bathrooms. One is a half bath and the other is a full bath. So well, this one doesn't belong to that circuit, but we're going to test it. And we press the button right away, it tripped, which means it's working correctly. So we reset it there. And switch, here's the switch. This is the light. It's working. And this is the exhaust fan, which is the one that vents all of the odors from inside the room to the outside. It's working properly. Here, the first switch is the one that wasn't working, the one that tripped the breaker. Let's check the second one. It's this one over here. So this one, this light fixture in this room, is the one that's tripping the breaker. I have two options. Take out the light and see if any wire is touching, or better yet, remove this cover and see if the ground wire is touching the switch. So one or the other, I have to do it. So I'm going to start with the switch. If everything looks good here, I'll go and check it's called a vanity, the light, to see if the problem is there, but we've already identified exactly where the problem is, and we're going to see the solution for this. I already took out the switch. For that, I turned off the breaker. Remember, friends, never work with the breaker on. And examining it, I don't see anything wrong here per se. If it trips, it means the problem is likely in the light's electrical connection or wiring. So let's check this out together. I come to the breaker box. I don't stand in front of it. I'm over here on the side. It tripped. Let's turn it off. We're going to remove this light, and the problem is going to be there. The breaker is off, the switch is off. And I've already removed the vanity. I've removed the light. The connections are all the way up there. And actually what I noticed after taking a closer look is that this particular wire, which is known as the hot wire, the wire that was stripped, the one that had the insulation carefully removed, was actually very long, much longer than I would have expected. And it's possible, or at least it seems possible, that a small thin strand of the wire, maybe just a single filament, was making contact with the metal, which could have caused an issue. But I'm not sure because I haven't tested it. I want to do it right now on camera to see if this light turns on, because I already cut the wire a bit here and reconnected it, and we're going to see what happens. Let's turn on the switch. And the light turned on. Well, friends, as you can see, the problem was in the light, in the light's connection. And the first thing you have to do when you're investigating a problem with something that used to work and suddenly stopped working, it means that it could be an outlet, a switch, something is defective, something is out of place. So the first thing you have to do is turn off all the switches and make sure there are no switches on that belong to that circuit. And turn the breaker back on. If the breaker trips, it means the problem is not in the switches. But if you have a three-way switch, then make sure you go and move the switch to the other position and go back to the breaker box to make sure it's not the switches. So if the breaker doesn't trip, then, well, we can rule out that the problem is in the lights. And then we go to all the outlets, and with our tester, we go testing each and every outlet on that circuit. So, well, that will tell you if they are wired correctly or not. So in our case, the switch was giving us a problem. So basically what we did was focus on this part of the bathroom, on this light. But since I'm already here, well, I checked all the outlets to make sure they were okay. That's something you have to do. If you're doing a repair, well, you're already here. So you might as well check that the circuit is okay. So it's working the way it's supposed to. Friends, remember, this video is for educational purposes. Be very careful when you're dealing with electricity because, well, it's dangerous. If you have any questions, ask them down below. And if you'd like more videos like this one where I'm out in the real world doing a job, well, comment down below. Anything where you're watching from, let me know down below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and press that subscription bell because every time I release a video, well, you'll get a notification. And we'll see you in the next video.